Good morning, everybody. It's me, Sarah, again. I hope everybody's having a lovely Friday. It's a great start to Mother's Day weekend, and this is a step-by-step art, so welcome. For those of you who have never seen this before, this is Denver Parks and Recreation's virtual online programming. And for follow along art, what we're going to be doing is we're all going to be working on a project together. We're all going to be making the same picture. And the beauty that I try to do with these projects is these are all things that can be created with things you just have in your house. Now normally we're using color, so it's color pencils or paint, things like that. But for this particular project, I wanted to do something that anybody can do. So you're only going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, maybe a pen. I'm going to be using a bunch of other stuff, so if you have access to those things, you can use those as well. But honestly, you only really need 3 things to get this project done. And I thought, since Mother's Day is going to be this Sunday, a nice floral garden picture would be a really good idea. So here we have our butterfly on our rose. It's very simple. It's just a butterfly. We have a rose, and we have kind of this artistic ribbon flowing through. I think it's really nice. I want to go ahead and show you what I'm going to be using. I have some professional tools, and then I have tools that you can use to go ahead and replace it with. So let's go ahead and go over this. So what I'm going to do is first I have this blender. Here's a blender right here. It's just a piece of paper that I rolled up. But instead of using this, if you don't have a blender, you can go ahead, you can use a piece of tissue, paper towels, anything like that. Look, I could just roll that up. Perfect. Or if you have at home, we have Q-tips right here. That'll work as well. So these are 3 really cool options. Some you might have if you have professional, some you just probably have at home. You're gonna need an eraser. I have this big eraser right here, but if you have an eraser on the back of your pencil, which you should because you need a pencil, then that'll work fine. I don't have erasers on the end of my pencils, which is why, but these are just, honestly, just regular graphite pencils. A standard number 2 school pencil is gonna do fine. Just make sure you have a sharpener. I also have here 3 things. I have a charcoal stick. This is gonna kind of create some really dark lines there. This is something that not everybody will have. So if you don't have that, I recommend just a Sharpie. Or if you don't have a Sharpie, just a black pen. All 3 of these can create the same thing. We'll have a little bit different texture. So I'm gonna try really hard to use a little bit of everything so you can see what I'm talking about, okay? So we have our dark outline here. We have our basic pencil. You need to have an eraser, and you're gonna need something to blend with. All 3 of these things here. So depending on whatever you have at home, I'll give you a chance to go ahead and collect that stuff, and we'll talk about and break down the picture that we're gonna be creating, okay? So, our picture is going to be 3 elements. That's how we're going to be able to get this done in time. We're going to have our rose, we're going to have our butterfly, and then we're going to go ahead and have that ribbon. So if you're looking at your paper right now, I want you to kind of see where you want the ribbons to end, kind of eye out here where the rose goes, the bottom of the rose in relation to the bottom of the paper, and the top of the rose in relation to the top of the paper, okay? And another really good way to do it is you see the butterfly in ratio. Just kind of figure out, maybe compare with your hand, how big is if your paper is smaller, just figure out how you want it, what sizes and where things need to get placed, okay? So I'm gonna be using just this sketchbook paper. It's Bristol brand. Look, it's just a notepad. It's not very fancy, but honestly, a piece of computer paper will work just as fine. All right. Generic piece of paper. All right. So I just kind of want to show you here when I was talking about when you're eyeing things in relation. So we can kind of see here. We want to kind of have our picture maybe centered a little bit. So let's say that we have that swirly ribbon that goes through it. So I just have a regular pencil here. I might just mark like, I want the top of my picture to stop here. I want the bottom of my picture to stop here. There we go. I'm drawing it a little bit darker so you can see it. So in order to get our shapes here, we're gonna need three things, okay? So first for the rose, I want the rose to start maybe bottom right here. Okay? And we're gonna kind of just make a bowl. So let me show you. Let's have our bowl go out to here. Maybe give yourself an inch. There we go. So lightly drawing this kind of bowl shape. Have a curve up. Doesn't have to be perfect now. Do you see how my lines are so scratchy and moving shaking like this? That's okay, because this is sketching. It doesn't need to be super perfect. We'll just go ahead and have it curve up a little bit. There we go. Let's get a deeper bowl. The beauty of using pencil is that you can just erase as we go here. There we go. Perfect. All right. There's one element. The next we have to do our butterfly. I'm really quickly just going to turn this over so I can see it a little bit better here. But here's our rose. I just kind of want this. I'm going to do a little circle here. It's going to be the center of our rose, okay? So why don't you go ahead and mark your center. Then for my butterfly, it's going to be composed of 4 triangles, just these 4 geometric shapes, and then we'll get going more. I just need to give me a second here to okay. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to just draw a little bit of a curve here. This is going to be kind of a soft triangle, but then look at that. Right? Curve here. It's just 4, and you can kind of even see like this triangle go like that. So go ahead and get those shapes there for me. Okay, and then we have to do our ribbon. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have our ribbon. It's gonna go behind the triangles, okay? So right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and 2 lines that way, and we're gonna have it there we go. That looks about right. I think this may be a little too thick here. So what I kind of want to do is I have an idea. Why don't we have it get skinnier when it gets to the wings? So wider on the ends. Wider on the ends and a little skinnier there in the center. So we would get rid of this. Our bowl should still be sticking out from behind the ribbon there. There you go. Look at these, just some very rudimentary lines and shapes here. So go ahead, give yourself a second to get those in. Does everybody have their coffee this morning? I know I have mine. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and start on the rose, then we'll move to the butterfly, and then we'll go ahead and we'll complete this ribbon, okay? So first we're just gonna be using, again, just a regular graphite pencil. Now, we have to kind of draw the petals. It's gonna be an interesting shape here, so I'm gonna have to turn this around a little bit just to kind of show you. But the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and draw this curve going out, and just think of it like, so we can't really say we're gonna draw complete triangles and squares and circles. We can do that. The kind of beauty of nature is that, what do we talk about? It's asymmetrical, it's imperfect, so we have to kind of embrace that. I'm gonna follow this bowl a little bit. It's gonna go out a little bit, and then I'm gonna go here. There we go, look at that. Just another line like that. Do the same thing here. I'm gonna just kind of exaggerate. Perfect. Now we have this line, this curve from our bowl right here. What I wanna do is I'm gonna draw a line to make it go straight out. Then I'm gonna hit where the curve of the bowl is. And I'm gonna kind of straighten it out. So let me see kind of a mound like that. Perfect. Then right about here, I'm gonna say, right here, we're gonna go ahead, I want you to draw kind of like a sad face, like a sloping sad face. There you go. And then right here, we're gonna just kind of go, draw like a little squiggle. Do perfect, and then we're gonna continue following that slope. Perfect. Let me see that. All right. Actually, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna raise our slope a little higher. Can you copy that for me? See, it doesn't matter how many times I've drawn the same picture. It's always changing. It's the beauty of art. There you go. And then here, what we're gonna do is, right here on this ribbon mark, I'm gonna go ahead and draw another squiggle. It's not to be perfect, just draw some squiggles. Then I'm gonna draw two kind of mountain peaks. So I'm gonna go down and up, and I want this to go right to this point here. Perfect, and that's gonna go out just a little bit. So some squiggles, curve down and out, and make sure it hits here where these two lines meet. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 lines going out now from the center point. All right, I'm gonna draw a little line going up, just a small one, 1/2 inch. Go in again. I'm gonna back out again. And now we're gonna kind of curve out this way just a little bit. Perfect, round it out if you can, and just, perfect. All right, now we have to put a petal right here. The petal's gonna go, so we have this downward slope, okay? We can put a little marker here and a little marker here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Right there, perfect. So we will have 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines. Have that 3rd line right there. It's gonna make sense in a second. The best way I can explain what we're gonna make is kind of like a cat ear or a dog ear. So we're just gonna go ahead and curve. Perfect. Kind of like an ear, you see? I'm gonna turn mine really quick. All right. And then we wanna draw just kind of some squiggles, just little squiggle lines. And then we're just gonna go ahead and continue that line in there. And that line's gonna go down that way, look at that, kind of like a cat ear or a dog ear. Perfect. Now we have to draw a petal going out this way, so I'm just gonna draw a curve that way. I'm gonna go ahead and look at what we're, go ahead and copy that for me, okay? Give yourself a second to go ahead and catch up. I'm gonna turn this over for me really quick, just so I can do one thing here. Okay, so you should have a blank space right here. What you're gonna do is curve down, curve it again, kind of like a little cashew there, okay? Then on this side blank, from this point in the cashew, go ahead and curve out. making like a leaf. Very obvious leaf sign. Then we have that bowl shape right here. So from down here, let's do a line. We're gonna just curve out that way. We'll kind of stop right there. Perfect. And then right here, I kind of want to draw. There you go. Now this is going to be where our center of our rose is, right? So I'm just going to turn that over for me really quick. So I want you to think right about here. We're going to have our rose just curve out with this. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and have our rose just curve out like from the center here. We're just going to, there you go. Turn that over really quick here. So this piece right here from the center, we're going to go ahead and curve out. Just kind of do 1, 2 mountains, okay? Then on this side, in here, we're going to curve this way. Curve that way. And 1, 2. Now I'm drawing a lot darker than you're supposed to. I'm just drawing darker so you can see, okay? Perfect. And then right here, I think from here to here, we're just going to kind of draw some more squiggles. Good job. We will draw a line like that, and then maybe very lightly kind of do a swirl. Good job. Turn this again here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a little mound right there. And I think right here, we're just going to go ahead and draw a little line right there. Okay. So just with your graphite pencil, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to darken the lines that we've kind of created, okay? So kind of just follow my lead on this. And then what we're going to do is, while I'm doing that, I'm going to add some more detail. So down here, see how my lines aren't perfectly straight? Just try to make this a little angular. Let's make this one a little angular too. There we go. So down here we did some squiggles, so let's kind of just accentuate those. There we go. I'm going to round out any corners, should be rounded out a little bit. There you go. Right here, so we have our, and then here we'll just, now notice how I'm not erasing any of the lines I've already drawn. We don't have to worry about that right now, okay? I'm gonna do a line right there. Perfect. Now, I want to go ahead and, let's just go ahead and make that a little curvier. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this guy done. That. Let's go ahead, and I want to add a little squiggle to the top of this. So let's go ahead and add a little squiggle. There we go. I'm going to turn this around just so I can look at it really quick. Trying to get a little bit of a big rose here. So now we're going to go ahead and take our graphite pencil and we're going to pick where we're going to want to shadow, okay? We're going to kind of want to have the light going down on it. So the shadows are coming out. So just go ahead and we're gonna lightly, lightly trace some detailing on here, okay? See how I'm very lightly? Maybe we'll have that shadow go down here. All right, so while I do this, let's go ahead and try to copy me. I'll go slower. There. Good job. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to just blend what we've kind of already created, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just use a piece of tissue paper in the beginning here to kind of show you. And also use your hands. You see how? Now the trick with blending is we just don't want to go shake, 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 shake. We want to go with the rose. So if that's the motion we're doing, if the rose is curving, let's say this way, well, we need to go with that curve. The rose is going that way, let's go that way. Now your rose is gonna start to get really dark. That's okay, because we're gonna go back and start erasing stuff. So for now, let's just get these shadow blends in, okay? Also, just look how good your finger looks. So go ahead, get your tissue, let's start blending. Try to go slow. go ahead, I have my charcoal pencil here, or if you just have a graphite, you would just draw darker now. I'm gonna go ahead and outline my rose here. I have to turn this over really quick. I just wanna look at it. Okay. So, a couple things. That's a mistake, and that's a mistake. We're gonna keep them. Because the cool thing about when we make mistakes like this on something like nature, just kind of adds some texture and makes it look natural, so it's actually really nice. So when we're drawing with our graphite pencil like this, I think we're gonna instinctually wanna draw like this. Try to get a straight line, nice and slow, right? With this rose, we really wanna embrace strokes. That's how we're gonna get that nature look. Now they might cross over, they might not touch, that's okay. It's gonna look really nice when we're done with it, okay? So like here, these squiggles, there we go. Keep that round edge. Nice and, see, just embracing the motions. So let's just do all of our outlines, okay? Outline every single petal, here we go. Just gonna turn this over really quick so I can look at it. Trying to get a blossoming out look here. So that's why I had to kind of erase some of this. There we go. Now, if your flower ends up looking a little too wide on the bottom, you can always just add another little arch behind here, this ribbon. That'll start to immediately give your flower a skinnier look. Look at that. That's a really kind of a fun secret if you're trying to add a little bit more. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my charcoal stick. However, if you don't have one of those, just using your pencil and then blending it really, really well and making it nice and dark work just as well, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, we had those pencil highlights, those shadows. I just wanna add to those just a little bit, okay? So like, let's say here we have a shadow right here. I'm just gonna very lightly add a little line there. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll use a Q-tip. I have this Q-tip right here. If you don't want to use a Q-tip, I have this piece of paper that's a blender. Here we go. There. Or let's say I want to just do some down here. Just use my finger. Don't worry about making too much of making the rose too dark, because the beauty of this is we're just going to erase whatever we want to cover up. So let's go ahead and very slowly, wherever the base of our graphite shadow is, that's what we're going to go ahead And we're gonna add just a streak of charcoal or a darker streak of graphite, depending on what you're using, okay? You'll see what I mean. Let's go, I'll go slow, try to follow along. There we go, good job. Now if you have anything here that looks a little plain, if your fingers are already dirty, sometimes I just like to sprinkle on a little texture there. Not necessary. I'm gonna turn this around here so I can look at it really quick. Perfect, okay, yeah. So you see how by doing the 3 different layers, we start to get that dimension here. If you have drawn some detail lines that you wanna bring back, go back with a darker pencil or pen. I'm gonna show you for example here. Say I wanted to use a marker instead. Let me find a good, here we go. If I had this marker, I could come back now with on my pencil and just all right, see? Now you want to trick with marker here. You want to stick to those rough lines because with marker, you can't go slow. You have to just embrace the smooth. It might be a little jaggedy, but that's okay because that's what we're going for. Going for that natural look, okay? You could also try a pen as well. My pen's kind of been a little weird today. Maybe a thicker pen. Just go ahead and play around with what works best for you, okay? Because I started with marker here, I'm probably gonna finish it off with marker just so there's some evenness to this picture. So look out now with marker, I'm just accenting little parts of it. I'm not accenting the entire lines, just enough here to get what we're going for. You see what I mean here? I'd be going too fast here, so I'm gonna slow down a little bit there, a little bit right there. Let's do this line like that. Accent that curve, let's go down. I wanna accent this line right here. How about right here? So I'm gonna go dip, dip. There you go. Got one up here, so like you can see each individual stroke. It's not very, that's okay, because when you put that on with all of the textures that we've created, you start to get a little bit of a rose. We're gonna go back and do some erasing in a minute to do some accents, but I wanna go ahead and move forward with our butterfly, okay? So everybody take a minute. Now, if you notice the center of the rose hasn't been done yet, that's on purpose. Leave that little swirl there, okay? So I'll give everybody a chance to catch up. All right, now I'm gonna turn over here just for a moment. Now we have our geometric little triangles here. They're kind of curvy. They're a little bit more artistic triangles. What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep with this flow here, and I just kind of want to point. But now see how in this one our triangles go straight across? I kind of just want you to try to figure out where you could cut off this chunk so the triangles kind of go down. Same thing here. How can we get these triangles to kind of perfect? We're going to do the same thing over here. All right. Then using an eraser, I'm going to go ahead and erase this extra piece of wing here, which means that these two wings are going to have to connect. Same thing here. Same thing here. That didn't make sense. It's okay. Let's just look at what I have now. Try to copy that. Okay. So we're already starting to get a little bit of a butterfly here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick. So we need to draw pattern. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start down here. This is just my regular graphite pencil. You just use number 2 pencil for this. Do a little curve, and I'm gonna just a little squiggle, go down. I'm gonna go ahead and do one little round mound and one little round mound. This side, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go down and up, a little point, and then let's just do 3 more little round mounds. Perfect. Now very lightly, we're going to copy this pattern. So copy this wing is going to copy that wing. Just lighter. Very light. Same thing over here. All right, good job. So, this little dip that we have right here, go ahead and turn this over. What I'm going to do is, we have this, I want you to draw a line from here, sit over butterfly and go up, have them connect. We're going to kind of create this like carrot shape. And then from here, I want this guy to go down and connect. So these like giant upside down teardrops, carrots, whatever you want to call them. Great, we're gonna do the same thing down here. That, want that to go there. If you're mistaken, perfect. Then I kind of want these little lumps here, let's just connect them. Little circles. All right, so we need to make some spots here for our butterfly. I'm gonna really quick, just a moment. There we go. So here, I don't want these edges of the wings straight, I want them bumpy. So I'm a little darker. I'm just gonna kind of create these waves. I'm following the line that I've created. Same thing here, so we have a point. Let's go ahead and just create a little bumpiness, little waves. See? Let's do the same thing over here. Let's try to go ahead and that line goes there, and then this guy. Perfect. So let's create some cow spots. When I say cow spots, I mean the monarch butterfly pattern. They're not perfect spots like Dalmatians. They're kind of all different shapes and sizes. So I like to do like one big one up here, kind of an oblong one here. Let's see, let's do a tiny one here. Maybe a medium one here. So go ahead, have fun with it, play around. Create any kind of shapes you want. Whatever you do here, we're gonna do it over here too, okay? So let's do my big one here. Let's see here, I had what? Trying to copy. Won't be perfect, that's okay. Let's do the same thing for this one. I have to do a bunch of even small ones, but like see how my lines are kind of like jaggedy, kind of square. Not stressing too much, because if you just have like a purple circle like that, it kind of looks a little weird. It's good to have it look like it's a little bit more organic. There you go. Okay. So let's go ahead and fill in this black here, okay? So I'm just gonna take my graphite pencil. Gonna kind of lightly fill in the black, okay? So you go ahead and follow me. Try to go nice and slow. So look here, if you look close, you probably can't see, but I've cut, I'm just all over the place here. I've colored into my spots. That's okay, this is just supposed to be something easy. So we now need to go back over with a darker. So it'd be drawing darker with your number 2 pencil, or if you have a charcoal, you can use that. I have to turn this over really quick because we want to get that motion to, where I was talking about making sure everything is quick and smooth. So same thing here, I'm gonna just, there we go. Let's go ahead and embrace these strokes and let's create the outline for these front 2 wings here. Perfect. Let's draw the outline here for your black shape. We already drew this line, so you can continue it. So the same thing here. Don't forget to sharpen your pencils if you have to in between. Or like me, I have a bunch of pre-sharp ones already. go ahead and draw 2 lines coming out from here. I'll show you one upside down and then I'll do the other one. First, let me make sure I get my butterfly wing on point. There we go. So I'm going to do just one swoosh. We'll do another one here, okay? I'm going to do this one upside down. Perfect. Can you do 2 like that? And then we're going to do the same thing here. Turn it back upside down really quick for me. So we'll do 1 like that. And then instead of doing another one, I'm going to do a V, a little sideways V. You'll see what I mean. Something like that. But try to get it to curve. There we go. All right, we are going to come back and make this darker, but before we do that, let's go ahead and do our wings back here. I'm going back to my just basic graphite pencil. So we have these shapes. Remember, let's darken them up again. We copied the pattern that we saw. Taking my pencil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw lines going down like that. So I want you to see these lines. We're basically, instead of coloring it in like this, we're just going to go ahead and draw lines. Do not go over the spots though, okay? So stop when you hit the spots. And if you hit a spot, continue the line going out that way. There you go. So let's just go ahead and do that together. Try to go a little slower. Have these lines here, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill in the black parts for both wings, okay? This is up to you what you want to use. Marker, charcoal, darker pencil, whatever you want, okay? I'm going to go with my charcoal stick here because this blends really well. So let me show you. So with something like this, I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit. I might want to use something like a Q-tip and just get a nice solid blend in there, okay? A little at a time. Or if you have the paper or the tissue, you can roll. Let's go ahead and darken up. We're not going to touch these back wings. We're only going to work on these front 2 wings, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Over a spot, you can just erase it, no big deal. Take your time. So what I might go do now is with my eraser, I might want to just clean up some of these lines, you know, from all of the shadowing that we've been doing, especially for like our spot shapes. But if there's a little shadowing in your spots, that's okay. It kind of just creates this nice little depth to it. Just kind of gives it a little bit of texture. And since we're not using colors, shadows are the best way to really help us showcase those textures. There we go. And it kind of helps you find some mistakes in there. Maybe you want to clean up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this over so I can look at this really quick. Looks about right. I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean up the inside of the wings here. So you're bound to start getting fingerprints on your stuff like me. That's okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is, this would be you using this charcoal pencil, or if you had like a darker pencil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just continue those lines. But then I'm just going to go ahead and take a Q-tip and just kind of blend it. We want this side to be lighter than this side, okay? Because this is the sun coming back. It's the back side of the wings, so it's not going to look exactly like these, okay? So go ahead and just do some darker pencil lines and then blend it. We don't want to lose the spots too much though. And so if you feel like your spot lines are too clean, you just go back, add some darker lines, and don't blend it, okay? So we have 3 steps here. You're gonna go ahead and draw some darker lines. You're gonna blend them. And then you're gonna do another set of dark lines, no blending. That means you're gonna have 3 kinds of lines: graphite, dark lines blended, just dark lines, and it's gonna, you're kind of layering on like a cake to create that texture, okay? So you can kind of see here the texture we're going for. So just follow along. I'll try to go slow. So if you see that, you know, you got some smudging or you kind of lost some of your shapes, just go ahead and clean them up with an eraser. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over. I think it would be better if we had a line going a little bit down that way, so I'm just gonna, there we go. We blend it a little bit. There. Okay. Turning it over for me. So now that we've got these lovely wings, we're gonna do what we did with the rose before. We'll just go ahead and just outline it. Once again, you can use a pen or a dark pencil. I'm gonna use that Sharpie again just to show you that you don't need all the fancy tools. And honestly, just a black Crayola marker you take from your kids would work fine too. So let's just go ahead and remember, when you're using marker, you can see all of the strokes. So it's really important to just kind of embrace that messy look. Maybe the lines don't even touch, that's okay. So what we're going for here is just some smooth motions. Kind of like a comic book. I'll go ahead and look at that. Perfect. So now we're missing our little butterfly. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a normal just pencil here, a little sharper. So I need to really quick just, all right. So we're gonna do a circle, just right here. Okay, and then here we're just gonna go ahead and swoop. We're just imagining our body going out this way. Now this is not gonna be, I want this line to go down a little bit that way and then connect again with that butterfly. We're gonna kind of give them this like front chest. This is not a scientifically correct specked butterfly. This is gonna be a cute little artistic butterfly. So we can just go darker with this. This is my normal number 2 pencil here. And then I have these wings here. I'm just gonna extend out a little bit, like that. Kind of make like a, let's blend it. There you go. For our butterfly, we kind of, you have a circle here. Let's kind of draw like a little half line right there. Let's try here to get this butterfly's face. There you go. His eyes are going to be a little upside down crescent moon. Okay, I'm going to turn this over really quick. Perfect. And then I think, so we have this curve here. It looks a little too much like a dinosaur in my opinion, so I'm going to go ahead and erase just part of that. There we go. Try to give him a little bit more of a artistic look. Now, if you ever feel like the nose is too curved, you can always just erase and make it smoother. I mean, honestly, make your butterfly look however you want your butterfly to look. I like that a little bit better. Whether we have the tip here, or we can give them a pointy end. Whatever you want. Now, with the graphite, let's just go ahead and darken up that swirl. Don't worry about too much because we have to do his legs. I have to do something really quick here upside down. So his legs, again, I'm going to make this thicker. I'm going to use a darker one just so you can see it, okay? His legs are going to be going in on itself here, okay? Kind of making a upside down Z here, because then his legs are going to go out that way, and then they're going to curve in like this. That's a leg. Let's do the same thing right here, okay? In, out, curve in. Keep those feet ends pointy. And then here, I'm just going to do a little lay out that way. Lay out that way. Those are his other legs. Now I'm gonna go ahead and outline this butterfly. I'm gonna use the Sharpie again. You use whatever you've been using to outline. For his legs though, I am gonna try to fill them in a little bit more, just because when we do stuff that's like black and white like this, little details like this can get lost. So just having a little bit of a Sharpie on there just makes it a little darker. Let me see here, there we go. Let's get a nice point. With butterfly, we'll have his wings. Extend his wings out like we said we would. That's it. We don't have to add any charcoal, anything like that. This is a very light, easy thing we're gonna do. Now we do have to do his antenna really quick. If you have a paper like mine, which is like just covered, be wary, we still have our ribbon, but let's just go ahead and try to clean it up a little bit. Does not have to be perfect. I'm just gonna try to, just a little bit. Putting my hands here a lot. There we go. Okay. Now we have to do our antenna. I have to turn this over just for a second again. We're gonna have one big one, one small one. So really quick, I'm just gonna take my pencil and, okay? So swoop. Then we're gonna do our smaller one. It's gonna go out a little bit. So my smaller one's just gonna, I think it needs to be a little bigger. There we go. It's always a little bit harder for me to do it upside down that way. There. Okay, we want these guys to curve. So I'm gonna just go ahead and, now if you feel like, oh, that's a little too long, we can always take it down a notch. So kind of get a curve. Same thing here. And I want this curve here, just have a little bit of it go. They're gonna go over each other, perfect. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make the ends look like little commas. So let's do a circle, and then we're gonna kind of just give it a little bit of an extension, and I'll show you what I mean here. Just kind of like little commas, little teardrops. All All right. Now, with this one, we're just gonna go straight to using whatever you're using to outline. For me, it's the Sharpie. I'm just gonna kind of follow it. Might not be perfect, that's okay. I like to kind of have them not touch. I think it looks a little bit more, you know, smoother, a little bit more artsy. Maybe you want to outline your comma a little bit there. There you go. Perfect. All right, now we have to do our ribbon. Then we're going to just highlight the rows a little bit. So to do the ribbon, it's actually going to be pretty simple. Whatever you're using to blend, for me, I'm using these charcoal things here. I'm just going to do 3 lines, okay? 3 lines. So first we have our outside line. You remember how we had it kind of going out here? So I'm just going to one. We're going to do the one on the out here. Remember you said wider on the outside, right? And then it got skinny on the inside. Now I'm just going to do one in the center here. Look at, not even touching. It's super easy. I'm going to use my finger for this. Let's just go ahead and blend this line. Okay. It's going to be really dark. That's okay. We're going to come back and start using this eraser. Now here, if I have dark fingers, sometimes I just kind of like to use those to my advantage. Just kind of create the motions of it going out. Same thing here now. There we go. Maybe I want to, like I said, create those motions of going out. All right. Then, using my graphite pencil here, I'm going to do a couple details. I think I'd like to do like another upside down V here. See how I'm just kind of shaking? Does not need to be perfect. See that? Let's go ahead and blend that. Honestly, you can just use your fingers again, or use a tissue paper or Q-tip, whatever you're comfortable with. Do the same thing up here, maybe a little. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna turn it over for me really quick. Perfect, okay. So last thing we have to do here is use the eraser to our advantage. We're gonna go ahead and add some highlights. First, the rose. Remember I talked about how the sun is gonna be coming down on the rose? So what I'm gonna do is, using my eraser, I'm gonna go to the top of a petal. I'm gonna go ahead and erase with the direction the petal is going. And then I might just, wherever the shadow and the eraser meet, just do a little blend. You can even just use a Q-tip. Same thing here. So I'm going to go ahead, look at, I can tell I had a little shadowing and a highlight right here. So now let's go a little bit more. You can see where it's lighter on the petal because you can see where you had previously shadowed. So let's go ahead now and we'll just slowly go through and add the highlights to these petals, okay? this really quick. And honestly, if this flower is a little too dark for you, you can always just take an eraser and really get it bright. Look at that. Just kind of accent that, highlight that, blend that. See, there's all different ways you can do this, okay? So just really play around with what works for you. We're gonna do the same thing with the butterfly. Let's just clear that out a little bit. Once again, it's not gonna be perfect. Sketching's just kind of a messy thing. Now for our ribbon here, what I wanna go ahead and do is we're gonna use the eraser as a highlighter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take it and just kind of swirl and go with whatever's happening. We're gonna use the eraser to kind of create these textures. Have a good time. I'm going to do a big actually eraser chunk right here. I think it looks good. You know, and I have drawn a little let's go ahead and I'm going to turn it over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of clean up and erase. And while I'm cleaning up and erasing, I want to thank everybody who got up early today to join me. If you're just joining me now, I want to go ahead and let you know that we will be posting this video. We have the video from last night, so this is some project that you can do at time on your own. I want to remind everybody that even though we have these adult classes, we have crafts and projects for children of all ages. Just go ahead and look at our schedule. And on top of all of the arts and culture programming we have to offer here, I want to remind everybody that we have all of our programs up on our website at denvergov.org/recreation. You can also go ahead and look here on Facebook, or you can check out our Instagram. So there's lots of different ways you can get some pretty exciting content. We have something for everybody. I want to wish all of the mothers and grandmas and aunts and mother figures out there happy Mother's Day. And I want to remind everybody to join us next week. We'll have a new project. And you're kind of getting the idea for what we would try to do for this picture here. So just go ahead, add some detail, add what you want to do. If I wanted to add marker to this ribbon over here, I could, you see. And just I want to remind everybody that, remember, it's not about the product, it's about the process. I hope you had fun. Don't feel rushed if you're not there yet. And as always, I want to remind everybody to stay safe and stay healthy and stay creative. Goodbye.